Okay, now say the very nice things about Lewis you just said.
Oh, I thought we were saying horrible things about him.
Okay.
We love you, Lewis. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
You can just edit this in and put it in the back end.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, you like. 5 seconds and I'll do this. All right, everyone. Onslaught fam, welcome back again. We have a bevy of other faction specialists on with us for the Neverborn, or Chaos Daemons as they were. First up, we have Mr. JT from Plasma Misfires.
How's it going?
And we have Almost Functional Clay as well.
What up? How we doing?
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, for coming on and sharing your experiences with this wonderful army. We'll start with Mr. JT. What got you into Demons as a faction?
It was kind of an accident. I bought, painted, and sold a Bellacore. I made great profit on him. And then with him, I ended up buying a Great Unclean one. Just kind of had him sitting around. I played a bunch of different factions at that point. I was playing World Eaters, and I decided that it'd be really cool to run Demonkin when World Eaters came out. When they came out with that, and I kind of just ended up going, oh, well, I have this one. Let's build this one. Let's paint this one. So I ended up getting a bunch of them, and teams in November, I was asked to play if I would want to play Demons. And, I mean, it was the most fun I ever had. So it's just a very enjoyable. I feel like I can do a lot with little. So I do have a lot of fun with that.
Yep. And what about you, Clay? What drew you to this bevy of monstrosities?
Yeah. So prior to 2026, I had never picked up a Demons model ever. I thought that they were kind of cool, but true to myself, I was a Tau player for about 12 years prior, and then when 10th edition, when I started getting back into the hobby, I picked up Eldar. Thought they were really cool. Towards the tail end of 2025, Eldar got the nice little nerf on the head to their fire dragons, and I took that as an opportunity to branch out a little bit. There was an event that I went to in 7th edition that had those Forge World Plague drones where there was flesh all over, like, the whole thing. And I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. So, you know what? Why don't we just bite the bullet and just get some of these demons and paint them up without any expectation of them being like a super competitive army, just more like a fun passion side project. There was at the time that I started painting up the army, there was a gentleman named Sam who came down to one of our GTs from Georgia, and he ended up going undefeated with Plague Legion. And I was like, that's really interesting. That's completely curveball way out there. So I decided, you know what, maybe I will play this like as my actual competitive style army. So more so like on the fun hobby side of things is what got me into Demons, but the fact that Plague Legion can have some amount of competitiveness to it is what has kind of kept me in the army for the last couple of months. Yeah,
no, for sure. And Demons are like that. They'll sneak up on you. You know, you'll see them like, oh, that's kind of pretty, and then all of a sudden they'll go like 5-0 or 6-1. And you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Myself, I actually picked up Demons in 10th edition as well. In the Index, I picked up Slanesh exclusively with Keepers of Secrets, Shalaxi, the Mask, Demonettes, Seekers. So I got really into it as well. I loved Slanesh back in 8th edition when their rule was Quicksilver, where they could advance and charge, and they could fight first. And that was before fight first was like a popular rule, because that kind of came around in 9th. Also with fights last, and then God GW stopped that rule. But so yeah, I played a lot of this in Slaneshi factions, and same. I kind of was like, oh, those look kind of cool, and I kind of like how they play. And then, you buy one, and you buy two, and next thing you know, you have 3,000 points, and you're like, well, where'd this come from?
Creeps up on you.
Yeah, but that being said, you both said you started playing it, relatively recently, all things considered. We'll start with Clay this time. How's your experience been in 10th edition? You mentioned your friend, attendee of an event came down and played Plague Legion. You pick up on that trail or kind of go your own way?
Yeah, so I have been playing strictly Plague Legion as a demon army for the last couple of months. With the amount of time that it takes to paint up a full army, I've stayed with that, with the expectation that in the future, branching out into the different gods to be able to run things like Demonic Incursion or Blood Legion or Shadow Legion, maybe if CSM is on the table. It'll be on the table, but so with the experience with Plague Legion over the last couple of months, I feel like they play relatively different than some of the other styles of demons. The big things,
100%.
Yeah, like their real strength, which is somewhat obvious, is their durability. They can tank a lot of shots, and if the opponent cannot handle the toughness that they bring, you will just beat them. The other thing too, which we'll probably get into a little bit more of strengths of armies, weaknesses of armies, is the battle shock shenanigans. If people are not aware of the battle shock shenanigans, it can really flip a switch and cause a little bit of frustration, if you will. So those two things combined sort of add to that competitiveness that has been with the Plague Legion list that I've been running. So yeah, I think that it's pretty much a summary of like how it's been going from a competitive standpoint.
Well, while we're on the topic of it, explain to the people what Plague Legion does. Like, what is, other than being the Nurgle detachment, what do you get for not being Demonic Incursion or one of the others?
Sure. So the army rule itself is very similar to Grey Knights, to where it operates based off of board control. So if you, as a demon player, are controlling half or more of the mid-board objectives, the no man's land area is within your shadow, if you will. Your home is always in your shadow, and if you're controlling your opponent's home objective, then their deployment zone is in the shadow. While within shadows, when an opponent takes a battle shock test, they're taking it at -1, and if they fail that battle shock test, then they take D3 mortal wounds on top of that. When
that's the faction rule itself. That's what demons gives you.
Yes, yeah. And so how that relates to Plague Legion itself as a detachment is anytime an enemy unit is within 9 inches of a Nurgle unit, that unit is considered to be within the shadows. So that's one half of the Nurgle detachment rule. The other half of it is in each player's command phase after secondaries are drawn, pick a unit within shadows and it takes a battle shock test. So how the competitiveness of that sort of layers is, say you are holding 2 objectives and your opponent only has 1 unit on a mid-board objective. Hey, take a battle shock at -1 or additional minuses pending other units in the army. If they fail that, hey, that's a 4 or 5 point primary flip just off of a 2 die roll. So the points can kind of creep up and unexpectedly go different ways that your opponent is not expecting.
I have played a few games of Plague Legion, and my favorite is my buddy had a shield captain left on the board. I shot him with the plague drones, or I think that's what the plague drones. I shot him with that, used the strat that forced him to take a battle shock. He was within 6 inches of the, I think it's the Maggot's Maw, I want to say, that automatically kills the model.
Canker Blight.
And it was the Canker Blight, and it was the only model that was there, so I killed the shield captain. I think I did like not even any damage to him, but forced him to take the battle shock test, and he died.
Yes. The layers are just so gross.
It is. I mean, as a detachment, I think it's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I think it's one of those detachments that are very like it's very. It can be very specific during some metas.
Yes,
it does it is the first detachment that actually makes the battle shock mechanic useful, naming no others. It is. I'm quite jealous every time I see Clay play, and it's like, all right, battle shock, and that'll be a -3 over there, and I'm like, come every time. But no, it is good. And like you said, there are some drawbacks, which we'll get to later in the episode. But it has a very strong premise, which, like you said, is board and objective control paired with durability, which is, for other armies that do that really well are like Necrons. Whether it's Wraith spam or Catan spam, that's kind of their stake. Just instead of battle shocking you, they're going to kill you or have more OC, and you're like, I'm just going to have more OC because you're at 0.
Bingo.
And we can get into units later, but Plague Bearers just baseline sticky objectives, and that just helps the board control. Like you said, there's layers. But leaving that potential alone for a second, Mr. JT, what has been your go-to detachment?
I play Incursion. I've tried the Shadow Legion. Shadow Legion, I think, has play, but it's just not it's not something I see as something I enjoy. Because one thing I love is the fact that I'm gonna pick up my minis and deep strike them, and then I pick up my minis and I deep strike them. It's my favorite. It is my favorite mechanic of any army. If I can pick up units and put them back down, I love it. Yep. And that's one thing I enjoy about them, because one of my favorite things to do is I'll use, I love to play Russian nesting dolls, and I will pop out my beautiful Be'lakor, and then out of Be'lakor might pop the Lord of Change. Out of the Lord of Change pops Kairos, and then the Flamers out of him. And it's just, to me, it just could be really funny and annoying. Because to me, I love being able to pick up models is great, because that's end game stuff. Like if we're on turn 5 and you went first and we're playing Scorched Earth, well, what are the odds that you have a unit on your backfield on turn 5?
Mm-hmm.
Low.
I might take your home and burn it on turn 5, all because I can pick models up and put them back down. And I think they can be really swingy because of that.
And not just pick up and put down. The demonic incursion rule, for those of you who don't know, is you can pick up 1 demon unit or 2 if they're wholly within your shadows. Which we didn't mention this before, but every greater demon, to include Be'lakor, has a 6-inch aura of their own shadows all the time.
Yes.
Which is how the Russian nesting doll trick operates mechanically.
But you have to come out of your
God keyword.
Your God keywords shadow. Except Be'lakor. Be'lakor, you can come. He's considered the Shadow of Chaos, so you can deep strike within him.
He originally had the rule, and then an FAQ gave it to all the other greater demons for their own things. But the other thing, very specifically, the other half of the detachment rule is when you come out of reserves, you can come out 6 inches away and still charge, which is particularly brutal with a lot of the detachments that want to charge. All of the infantry and other things like Blood Crushers are a good example. I think the only Nurgle ones, the Beasts don't carry instruments. I think it is the Plague, the Flyers, right? I think they're the only Nurgle non-Plague Bearer that has an instrument +1 to charge.
Yes, that sounds right.
Unless you give them a character. I think a character can also help them charge, but yeah, so you can do, not only can you come out 6 inches from your own guys, you can, in Demonic Incursion, you can come out 6 away, and you can still charge, and obviously to help, like with, JT said, with guns, arrows. It's okay, man. Look, you're a family man. We respect it over here at Onslaught. But, no, so Demonic Incursion is, and I agree with you, I think Shadow Legion is fine for a more aggressive play style. I also lean towards Demonic Incursion because it's such a good, it's one of those classic 10th edition like index attachments where it's not skewed any one way, so you can kind of bring what you want and make a battle plan around what you want to bring, not what the attachment tells you to do. So I really like it as well. But with what is your flavor of Demonic Incursion? You said Be'lakor, Kairos. Do you like good stuff, or do you kind of lean to a certain play style?
For me,
Yes, sir.
so I bring Scarbrand, Great Unclean One with the Endless Gift, because that 5-up Feel No Pain, you can't go without it.
So
I recently started bringing Bellicor, because I had a conversation with Michael Mann from Art of War at ATC, and I decided to give it a shot. And I will say it has made things a little different in a good way, especially being able to pop my units out of him specifically. Because prior to him, I brought a Rodigus, the Lord of Change, and Kairos are the other models that I bring. Kairos' Vect is perfect. I love it because a lot of people, you want to use Armor of Contempt? Okay, that's going to be 2 CP instead of 1. And to me, that extra forcing my opponent to use more CP, to my mind, is awesome.
Yes,
and for Vect is a colloquial term that we use for the rule is called Lord of Deceit. And on Kairos, who I believe is a 90 millimeter or 120 base.
I think it's 100.
100. But big circular base like that, and then it's 12 inches all around. And it's not the first strat or one strat, it is every strat. So like you said, AOC, Heroic Intervention, Smoke, Combat Interrupt, Command Reroll, everything costs an extra CP. So the first time, you might think, okay, this kind of hurts, but I can do it. But then you start realizing that was a shooting phase. Now there's a charge phase and a fight phase. And even if you want to do something as simple as Insane Bravery, that's now 2 CP. Yeah. So it gets real expensive real fast.
It makes people, you lose your interrupt because your interrupt might be 3 CP. Heroic Interventions now 2 CP.
Yeah.
He is something, that's what I have him for. It's just his Vect. Honestly, nothing else. He doesn't.
That's not even the
plus 1 CP can give me a CP.
Yeah, and I'm like, his shooting isn't nothing either. Like his shooting is not bad. It's not quite a Lord of Change, but it's respectable.
Yeah, he does decent shooting, but and sometimes I might not put him in a position where he's gonna get shots because I need him to survive. I don't want to put him out in the open.
You got 6 big boys, 1 enhancement. Do you put the staff?
Everstaff? Yeah.
Yep.
I put the Everstaff on the Lord of Change.
Absolutely.
Every time. And I actually run one more character, and that's the Exalted Flame. Because I have him lead the 6-pack of Flamers. And then I have 3 squads of 3 Nurglings and 1 Plague Bear squad. That's my staple list. I did try to take the Skull Taker and 10 Bloodletters, but I didn't have the same that I have with the Flamers, because that allows me to, if you're running a Horde list, I'm doing, I would say anywhere from 20 plus shots with my Flamers into a Horde army, which is great. So I enjoy that.
The chaff.
Oh yeah, I
threw it.
I've gone into Tyranid Horde, and great success because I just move blocked them. And just move block them and then burn them.
Yep. No, yeah, and especially with the Flamer, specifically the Overwatch, if they want to try and get around you, or are fast enough to get around you, you're just like no, like Jakari, for example, you just be like no, die witches, or find Steven.
My Nurglings are usually out in the middle of the board on turn 1. I use them to move block. I mean, you're killing my 40-point model. Yeah, if we're playing Purge the Foe, you might get me for Purge the Foe turn 1, and I'm okay with that. You killed my 40-point model. I'm so heartbroken. I'm now going to kill your most likely more than 40 points.
About, I don't know, a month ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, me and JT played a game on TTS against each other, and this guy, I run Vanguard with 30 Gene Stealers. Only one unit of Gene Stealer was able to get anywhere relevant because he just here's 9 Nurglings in a semicircle across the board. And I'm just like, this is the most annoying to go kill them because he has, again, Kairos and Scarbrand and another bird and Bellicor. And I'm like, this sucks.
I'm not afraid to yeet Scarbrand up turn 1 because of that. Because if you go first, chances are my Scarbrand's going to be able to charge turn 1. Because you're going to come and meet my Nurglings. If you shoot them, they might survive.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yes.
They got 4 wounds. They got a 6-up, 5-up, 6-up. I think they got 5.
5-up invuln.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5-up invuln. Yeah, and I always feel bad because I have the tendency to roll 4s and 5s.
And if you string them back to be within 6, I think it's 6 of the Guo, now they're an extra toughness too. That's just another layer.
Yeah. That is one thing I do like as well. But usually, honestly, I have like maybe 1 survive turn 1 most of the time, 1 unit. And it's even funnier when they might kill 2 of them, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna roll their battle shock, and they pass. Now they're all back.
So a theme of this episode that for the audience that you guys are gonna, I don't know if you guys agree with me, but the way I view demons, like in terms of other games like Magic or like any card game, is demons is for like you combo players. It doesn't really have any one particular like even Bellicor is he's like more of a linchpin than like a solo unit. And like Clay said, like even outside of Plague Legion, there's just layers to how things work. Like JT's talking about with using to enable Starbrand, 2 different gods until finding, that layer of synergy. Maybe not rules wise, but like in play pattern and tactics. There was another rule of Shadows of Chaos that actually benefits the Chaos player, and that is the inverse of how it affects your opponents, where when you take a battle shock test, you are +1 to that test, and if you pass it, you heal D3, and bring back a model if it, if you're heal kind of like Tan or
If they're battle line, you bring back D3 bases.
Yeah, and Nurglings are battle line for some reason.
Yes, they are.
I don't know why. JT, you're still muted.
Every time I roll to bring them back, I'm like, all right, I want to bring back these 2 Nurglings. So like, they're battle line? I'm like,
sorry about it.
And that's
don't hit me.
That's also, again, another layer of why I say Plague Legion is the best battle shock army, because they do it more consistently than any other Chaos Knights, Tyranids, Sisters of Battle, I guess, if you want to count them. But then you can't do it back to them. Because as a Tyranid player, every demon player I played is look at me like, are you going to call Shadows? And I'm like, I don't want to. Because nothing feels worse than like damaging Scarbrand or a Guo, getting them down to like 8-6 wounds, and then just watching them unbracket because they pass on leadership 5.
You don't want Scarbrand to bracket though. Scarbrand is the only demon you don't want bracket. He's stronger.
We'll get into him. We're gonna get into each of them. We kind of like teased out, the Kairos and Scarbrand, but we'll get into units because this is 4 individual armies in a trench coat where you can run them independently and they like super buff and synchronize like Plague Legion, or you can bring all the Skittles to the table and just make your opponent taste the rainbow, and that still works somehow.
That's what I do.
We do.
So,
we make it work.
Yep. So going on from there, this is actually a perfect segue into, units. We'll start with Mr. Scarbrand because he is the one unit that even non-demon players, like if people are playing Chaos Knights, specifically like, I really want some oomph, but there's not really a good melee knight outside the Lancer. I'm like, Scarbrand and 10 Bloodletters. It costs just as much as a knight and hits way harder. So either one of you two want to talk about the big red man?
He is one of my favorite models. And he usually dies turn 2.
Lore accurate Scarbrand.
I use Scarbrand as a trading piece. I will. It works.
If you don't handle them, you're going to lose.
Well, because here's the thing: it gives the player the feel good. They're like, "Oh man, I can kill these greater demons," and then they start moving forward, and I'm like, "Thanks! Like you give me all these pieces I can now shoot at and charge." Because you killed my Scarbrand, who charged a unit, killed it, was sitting out in the open, so all your units shot him, and he died. Or what's worse is when they do that and they shoot him, and he's still got wounds left. And I'm like, well, I guess he gets to live till turn 3.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
And to the point you made a few minutes ago, what happens if he lives on, like, I don't know, 4 wounds? Let's say they almost kill him, but you spike a save or 2.
So when he brackets, most units, they get -1 to their hit roll, right? Skarbrand gets +2 attacks. So his natural ability is he gets +1 to anything within his aura, right? So he gives himself +1 attacks. So what that does is he's got +1 and then +2 because you bracketed him. So now he's +3. So he's got his main attack, I think, is 8 swings, -4 damage, or maybe 6.
6. Flat 6
damage. 6 damage. So now it goes from 8 to 9 and then 9 to 11. I believe that's the number. He went from 9 to 11 attacks. Probably going to kill your vehicle. On full, your vehicle will be on full wounds. He's killing it. Maybe. Most likely. If it's anything without an invone, it's dead.
I have seen him flip Angron in a single activation. And, like, it wasn't even particularly spike. It just, all right, I failed 3 saves, 18 damage. And the opponent was like, I'm sorry, the guy's flat 6 each. You just failed 3 and you died.
Like, I'm excited to go up into some Land Raiders on slot 12.
Some crabs.
Same player. Same player. I'm not. But
oh man. Yep.
Also, he has a very interesting rule that he got. Not last day to say, but the one before that.
Oh yeah. His advance in charge.
Yeah, he just does that. There is a stratagem in Demonic Incursion. You don't need to use it on Skarbrand, nor do you need to 6-inch reserve him, because he moves 10. His wings don't work. He pissed off Corn. But he moves 10, he can advance in charge. So, like you said, you stage him turn 1, you block off any sight lines with Nurglings, and then turn 2, Cowabunga it is.
Yeah.
And then maybe, another 10 bloodletters come out of him. Like you said, Russian Nesting Doll, but not in your list, but potentially.
I have had him fail a 4-inch charge before.
Yep.
That's a tough day.
Well, I expect to lose him. Whether he gets me something or doesn't, you got to be out in the open to get to him. So I'm okay with it. It's sad, and it's a little crazy to willing to trade a 250-point piece, but all I have is 250-point pieces.
Yeah, it's like
I can't hide them all game.
If throwing a wrench in the wheel spokes of your opponent's army, whether you get in or not, if you're throwing a wrench in what they're trying to do by either killing X thing and then getting them to adjust the way in which their plan of attack is, getting them out in the open, or hey, I killed your one big land raider or your big fort or whatever that you were relying on, and he dies in return. He did the thing that you wanted him to do, and your opponent is on the back foot because now what am I supposed to do? I don't have my land for it, and then you can capitalize on that.
Yeah.
And he is also a monster that is T11, a 4-up invuln and 20 wounds. So
yeah,
that is not easy, but going from that profile, just to kind of preface it, going into the Great Unclean Ones and Rodriguez and stuff. But you want to tell us about those big chunguses?
Oh yes, the big chunguses. So the Guos and Rodriguez are staples in the way in which I play Plague Legion. I think that they have to be if you want to play Plague Legion effectively. So I'll start with just the baseline Guo. He gives off an aura of +1 toughness to all of your Nurgle things, which is really nice. Plague Bearers have a breakpoint from 5 to 6 now. Beasts go from 9 to 10. Nurglings, if they happen to be within 6 inches, they go from 3 to 4. That's really cool. And then at the end of the movement phase, they get to pick an enemy unit within 12, and they're -1 to their toughness, which can also adjust those types of breakpoints to be in your favor. Nurgle is not necessarily.
Real quick on that. On his first rule, the first data sheet rule, its wording is all allied Nurgle keyword units, which, like Skarbrand, includes itself. It gets its own +1 toughness. Sorry.
Yes. No, you're good. Yeah, so that bumps him up from T12 to T13, which is a phenomenal breakpoint. Things like last cannons that aren't on top of a predator, they're wounding you on 5s. Your Nurgling or your plague bearers that like you have like something that's like strength 10 or something like that, now wounding on 3s. Things like that really do weigh like tilt the scales, if that makes sense. The Guos themselves, they are, what is it, like 20 wounds, 4 up invuln, 6 up feel no pain. The feel no pain, it comes into play sometime, like either you're going to roll really hot or you're not going to get a feel no pain on your dude. That's just kind of how it goes for them. And they can be surprisingly good in combat. It can be. So like they're 6 attacks, sitting on 2s with lethal, cool. Strength 10, AP, I think it's 2, D6 plus 1. On their like main sword, you're not really taking the bell, you're taking the sword. And then the extra attacks, like 3 attacks at like 622, I think is what it is. It's something along those lines with lethal. The strength of the damage output with Nurgle as a mono faction is the types of layers. So layering those defensive buffs and going into those offensive buffs with Rodigus. So Rodigus is a very similar stat line across the board. Movement 7, 22 wounds instead of 20, 4 up invuln, 6 up feel no pain. Cool. He does not give off the aura of +1 toughness, but he does give off the aura of -2 to opponent's move characteristic within 6, and he also gives off an aura of -1 OC down to 0. It can reduce it to 0 because other rules state that it can't be reduced below 1. His does allow it to go down to 0. So if you have like some aspect warrior unit that's just going over there to tie you on OC 5-5, well, actually, no, we still out OC you with that. So that's kind of his like aura. His point click thing is at the start of the fight phase, pick an enemy unit within 24 invisible, and you are +1 damage into that thing with anything that attacks that thing. So what that means is your plague bearers.
That really helps with the damage.
Yes, yeah, like Nurgle is not a damage style army unless if you're able to get those layers. So taking plague bearers 20 attacks at 411 to 412. Or 422 with an enhancement in Plague Legion. We'll get into that later. But 412 is significantly more impactful than being just at 411. You can kill Marine squads like it's nobody's business when it's 2 damage instead of 1. As for like the role that they play on the board, they're just kind of like that big hulking tank that your opponent needs to dedicate a significant amount of fire to kill. So there are people that will like rapid ingress like Rodigus or like a Guo. There are some people that will spread out their Guos across the line and just shove them all in all of the board objectives. I've tried a couple of those different things. The most or the best output that I've gotten from this in Plague Legion is to swamp your stage objective with as much garbage as you possibly can, Guos included, and then sort of shift up the board. That's about as simple as I got.
He's a Nurgle player. He's like, yeah, garbage, this 280 point unit that just links into my army, garbage on an objective.
Yes, yeah, we're like Sesame Street green boy sitting in the trash can, shove it all up there. Oscar the Grouch out here, just shoving things up places.
That's a good one.
That should be someone do a conversion for the Sloppity Biopiper, and it's just Oscar in his trash can.
Yeah, and a little nurgling on his head or something.
He's kind of a layer.
Yeah, so I don't know, JT, if you want to talk about Guos in the context of other detachments, but that's my experience from Guos.
Oh, is that your Nurglings?
Oh, that's...
Yeah, he's in a bathtub.
That's
falling
awesome.
in the vat.
He's in a spa.
Yeah.
But yeah, JT, how do you said you have a Guo in your list with the enhancement?
I do, yeah. The enhancement gives them, it changes the 6 up feel no pain to a 5 up feel no pain, which is still, you're going to roll more 5s than you are 6s. Statistically speaking.
Statistically double, actually. 100% increase.
Yeah, so it's great. I have the tendency to kind of I like to park myself in midboard.
It's a very parkable unit for sure.
Oh.
I think we lost him for a second. Oh, there he is. You're back. All right. This is what we get for talking about the warp. The warp is possible.
Yes.
I would say that I kind of just put him midboard and allow him to sit there. Depending on, I'll usually try to park him in the center of the table or on my opponent's expansion. Because what are you going to do? You got to kill him.
Yeah, dedicate a lot.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, T13, 20 wounds, 4-up invul, and 5-up fennel pain is... And, like, 4-up invul and 5-up fennel pain is, I think it's... Yeah, it's close to, like, 80 wounds on it. Like, a conversion of 80 wounds to take it down on average. Like, it is... It's a more than you think.
I do take the plague flail over the sword. I've just had better experience with the flail than I have the sword because usually I might get like one hit through.
Yep. But also in your list, you're running Scarbrand and Be'lakor, so your melee needs are, elsewhere in the list. And even
Kairos. Kairos has got good melee. He's 2d3 damage on his. I've used Epic Challenge on Kairos to kill a character.
The wizard stick. Oh.
Yeah, it's
we'll
killed
take that.
I remember the first time someone swung at me into an execrate. I'm like, all right. They're like, all right. I'm like, I failed 2 saves. They're like, okay, 4d3 damage. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? What did you just say to me? So that yeah, no, demons are very, and that's kind of the fun thing about the demon army is their data sheet, and it's also the frustrating thing. We'll get to this later, but optimistically, through a good lens, their numbers are just all over the place.
Yeah,
like most demons have an armor, because we've been saying invuln save a lot, and that's what you live and die by.
Yes.
Because most demons' armor save is a 7-up to include the greater demons.
Scarbrand, Be'lakor, and I think the Bloodthirster.
Yeah,
are the only 3 with a normal save, like a 3-up.
I think, yeah, and
I don't even know if the Bloodthirster gets it.
I think the Bloodthirster does. Yeah, Demon Princes are 2-up, 4-up across the board, and Bloodletters are a 5-up armor save. So not a 7, but a little bit better. But Khorne is the martial god, so he's a little better of an armor save. Again, you're usually taking the invuln because Bloodletter is also a 5-up invuln, so you could flex on an armor save with AP 0.
Yeah,
but
there you go, get cover.
Yeah, and so going through that real quick, I don't know if Clay, you have anything to say about any Zinch units. I know, but JT, you said you run 3 of them, I believe.
I do. Well, I run, I guess, 4 technically.
Well, 4 to play the exalts.
Yeah.
So we'll go through your 4, then we'll hit Clay if he wants to add any Zinchian trickery into the nuance.
I run an Exalted Flamer who leads a 6-pack of Flamers. And then I have the Lord of Change and Kairos. The Lord of Change, I don't have his data sheet on me. Give me a quick second. Sorry, gentlemen. Don't hate me.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
I'm looking them up now, too.
Right? I'm so bad.
So again, like I said, the demon data sheets, for those of you who maybe have not interacted with demons, they're kind of like looked at them as a curiosity. First of all, welcome. You're a part of us. You don't know it yet. That's how it starts. But their numbers are all over the place. And some weapons will be like, yeah.
Yeah, usually I would just look at my phone, but I'm actually using my phone as my webcam.
A little behind the scenes magic.
Yeah.
But
well, fancy.
Well, while you're doing that, Clay, we're done. We're doing it live, folks.
So Lord of Change, 12-inch move, T10, 4-up and low, just like everyone else, 18 wounds. His thing is his Bolt of Change. If you have the Ever Staff, it increases its strength by 2. And its range gets an extra 6 inches.
3.
Yeah. No, 6 because it's a greater demon. And he's in his
the aura it enhances. Yep.
Yes, so he gets to increase his own aura. Hi, Sophie. He gets to increase his own aura. So he goes from 18 to 24. And strength 9 goes to strength 10 to strength 12 because of the +1 strength he gives himself, +2 strength from the Everstat. So he's going to do 9 attacks, hitting on 2s, probably wounding on 2s or 3s, depending. And then I always go the hazardous. So it's going to be 3 damage a pop rather than the 1 damage because it's just what I prefer. And then
surely at the end of the profile, there's nothing else left to it, right?
No. There's also the Rod of Sorcery, which is 2 attacks, hitting on 2s. This is going to be strength 12, or this is going to be strength 11, AP -1, 2 damage. You can also increase that AP with a strat.
In Demonic Incursion.
Yes, in Demonic Incursion, because that's what I mainly play. I don't really play any other ones. They're a lot of fun, but it's just the one I prefer.
So now we're done with the shooting.
With his shooting, yes.
Well, that was a trick question.
Wow.
No, because he has a rule that when he shoots.
Oh, his other... No, for him? No, his is the... in my shoot... Oh, I always click. You're right. So he has the Master of Magic, which is in your shooting phase, select one of these abilities. You can take lethal hits, ignore cover, or sustained hits D3 on the bolt of change. I always pick the sustained hits D3 just because it's more attacks, and more attacks is always fun.
Mm-hmm.
I played against the actually not the bird detachment, but I played against Thousand Suns with demons. I brought 3 winged hive tyrants. My opponent had Magnus, Kairos, and 2 greater demons. We could not move our infantry because there were so many wings on the board. That's neither here nor there. He shot me with a 1 Lord of Change. No Everstay, just raw dog again offensively. He rolled his 9 attacks and he got 23 hits because of that sustained D3. That is no joke.
Dear goodness, that's a boatload.
That extra screen got obliterated.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I know that rule exists. I've been on the receiving end of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had opponents come to me after the game and they're like, "That's not supposed to." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, dude. I'm like, here's the data sheet." He gives it to. I'm like, "Dude, I would never." I always feel bad because demons are shitty, and I always try to explain everything, but everyone misses something. Accidents happen, and I always feel bad when someone's like, "Well, that's not how that works," and I'm like, "Here's the data sheet. I'm sorry."
Really is.
You always feel like you might have got someone, but you explain it to them, because sometimes that one rule is really confusing for demons when it's they get the bonus for this and the bonus for that, so that can get kind of confusing sometimes. And Kairos, Fate Weaver, he's pretty much the same profile as Lord of Change. His weapons are different though, and it's not great, but it's not bad either. His Infernal Gateway has 2 different styles. They're both blast. One's hazardous. They're both indirect. They're both one's D6 +3, which is going to be just the indirect, not hazardous. Hitting on 2s, strength 9, -2, D3. Now the other one's going to be D3 +6, hitting on 2, strength 9, AP -2, 3 damage. That's the hazardous. I always do the hazardous.
Guess which one everyone does every time, because hazardous is the singularly most funny rule in the game.
What are the odds I roll? I think I've done it. I've probably rolled 30 times, maybe rolled and won 5.
When I played Slanesh, I played maybe a dozen games, and I never got punished.
I looked it up. We're good. I checked the math. Might have been once.
Yeah. And you said strength 9. Now, if you have him next to your other bird, though,
he goes to strength 10, which is a break point. 10 is a break point.
It's probably the best break point in the game.
Yeah, because most things, especially Space Marines, T4, Terminators T5.
Yep.
If you're not going into Deathwing Knights, you're going into 3 wound models at least for Terminators. Thank God.
Victrix Guard, very popular right now.
Are they? They're 3 wounds apiece, right? Not 4.
3 wounds. Yep, 3 wounds. T4. So.
Yeah, I can deal with that. I don't want to deal with Deathwing Knights.
I hate Dark Angels so much, but this is not their show. We'll get to that. I'll find some Dark Angels players and drag them on it one day.
That strength 9 to strength 10 is that is perfect. Like things like Rhinos, you're rooting on 3s instead of 4s. Like Baby Knights, you're rooting on 3s instead of 4s. That a lot, yeah. Like the T5 dudes, like Terminator, stuff like that, rooting on 2s instead of 3s. That is exactly where you want to be.
Yep.
They're always Kairos and the Lord of Change are always next to each other. I don't separate them. They're just, if I'm moving 12 inches, they're moving 12 inches together.
Yeah.
And that indirect, like even, you see, even firing indirects, you face like MSU, Eldar, or Sisters with Immolators, even Marines, a wounded unit that maybe you didn't quite kill and they slunk off, a single Nurgling lived. You're like, oh, my indirect just over there. I don't want you getting a random behind enemy lines. Or Grey Knights, like Grey Knight Librarians, they love to just hop up and down. You're like, no, die. So that's also super useful to do.
Now, JT, when you're running them both together, what do you normally use them on the table for? Like, do you have them go to your expansion? Do you have them just kind of pop up, pop down, uppy downy, like you were saying before? Or how do you use them?
So, in all honesty, they usually sit in my deployment zone. They peek out at 24 inches. Is most of the center board space is no man's land. So they kind of sit in that area close to my home, but not too close, just enough. I never have them in the center of the board because then they're getting shot at from all angles. So I make sure they have some cover, just so that they're a little bit safer. And then usually they don't come out to essentially mid board where they can be seen on all sides, probably until turn 4 or 5 sometimes. Usually they just stay in the back because they're usually the last models in my army to die because of that. But they also put in the most work, especially in the shooting. That's all I really do, unless you charge them. And their melee weapons aren't bad, but they're mainly for shooting.
Yeah.
So I like them for that. So they don't really go out there and try to muddy it up with everyone else.
Yeah, because it kind of sounds like what you'll do is you'll have like Scarbrand go up, throw the wrench in the wheel spokes. You drop your Guo down in mid board. It takes the opponent a while to deal with Scarbrand or get out of position or whatever. Then you're racking up points with your Guo plopping down. When they do decide to come out to get that Guo, they get into combat, your 24-inch range can be able to threat or push off whatever tries to come threaten your Guo.
Oh, yeah, and I usually drop the Flamers out of one of them. Like, the Flamers will come out and also shoot at whatever's in mid-board, because they're great at taking out chaff. They really are. Like,
and
the
Flamers,
bye-bye.
The Flamers, they also cause a battle shock, right?
No, that's the Flamers. No, the Flamers can fall back, shoot, and charge.
Oh, that's the rule. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So they stay mobile no matter what.
Yeah, but the Exalted Flamer, his exact, if I can find him.
I know he has 2 profiles for his Flamer, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a 2d6 and then 3. One is an actual Flamer, the other one isn't.
Yeah, which again is Demons. It's just weird.
Yeah, what he does is he if he hits you on a 4-up, you are -2 to your move and -2 to your charge, and I think -2 to your advance as well. But he gives the unit assault, which is also good. But they already, which is great, especially if you advance them. They can fall back shoot, but being able to advance them and shoot is also nice.
Yeah, now they are the most mobile. Like, that's the trifecta of guns you want. You can uppy downy them and fall back and shoot, advance and shoot. You're always shooting. As long as they're alive, they're activating.
Which is good, in my opinion.
Oh, it's great. Absolutely. With that, Clay, you have some experience running some Tzeentch unit, or a Tzeentch unit, we should say.
Yes. Being an exclusively Plague Legion player, there are only a few Tzeentchian units that like have some amount of cohesion with the detachment. There's another one that I'll kind of go over, but I don't know enough about it to be able to speak on it. But the one that I use is Blue Horrors. They're expensive. They're $125. What they give you, I'm going to preface that. They are expensive, so it might be a unit that gets cut in the future. But it's 10 bodies with T3, 4-up invuln. They split into brimstones on a 4-up. So like if they die and the unit is not wiped in the activation, at the end of your opponent's activation, you roll a die for each blue that was killed. On a 4-up, a brimstone horror model comes back and it gets added back into the unit. which makes them interestingly tanky, kind of.
10 bodies.
10 bodies, but you need to bring 20 models to the table to run the unit. So they have a couple of different purposes. They have infiltrate, which allows you to have a nice little screen, or if you want to place them on your expansion, or you want to lock down your side of the board so your opponent can't scout. Personally, I kind of want my opponent to like put their infiltrators 9 inches away from me, because then I get more movement when I charge them.
Yeah.
But like, we need all the movement we can get as Nurgle. But if there's any like jank or anything where you got like a combi lieutenant that's just being really annoying and you don't want him there, the blues can infiltrate there. They're also kind of good as like a move blocker. They can get in the face of whatever is there. They have a lot of OC. They're 1 apiece, which doesn't sound like a lot in 10 bodies. They also, and this is the real reason why they are good in Plague Legion, any enemy unit within 6 inches is -1 to their leadership characteristic. So what you can do, and we'll get this is a couple layers of the charcuterie board of cheese, is you'll be -1 for being in shadows. If you're within 6 inches of the blues, you're taking your battle shock at -2. And then if there's another character, one of the heralds of Nurgle is called the Poxbringer. He also makes you take battle shock tests at -1. It is confirmed. They do all stack. Your Marines or your Marnius Calgar or whoever that's leadership 6 will be taking his test on a 9.
And for those of you thinking, oh, well, my army's bad leadership anyway, I'm Orcs, I'm leadership 7, and you can't modify leadership to more than 9, you're correct, but you're still wrong, because only 2 of those modifiers are modifying your battle shock result. The 1 to your leadership doesn't count towards that rule specifically, so if you're leadership 7, you do need a 10. Because I do something similar with Tyranids where Death Leaper modifies your leadership, and then Synapse and a Neural Tyrant modify a battle shock test caused by shadows. So if your leadership worse than 6, you can get to 10 or even 11 if your leadership 8. So it can stack real bad real fast.
Yes. I'll save the other pieces of that cheese for another time because we're talking about Tzeentch units right now. But that's the main unit that I'll run Tzeentchian in Plague Legion. The other one that other people have used to effectiveness is the Changeling.
Love him.
I don't know enough about his specific.
Awesome model.
Yeah. Do you know his datasheet enough to talk on it? Because I don't know.
So I do know that he. So you have to be. He has lone up. You have to be within a certain distance to shoot him. In your opponent's shooting 12 inches. Yes. Obviously, because he has lone up. So in your opponent, at the start of your opponent's shooting phase, pick one unit within 12 inches. I believe that unit has to take a battle shock test. If they fail, they can't shoot. And the other one is if your opponent chooses them as a target, they have to do something. If they fail, they can't shoot him. I can.
No, it's when a target chooses them, they roll a d6. On a 1, nothing happens. On a 2 through 5,
they're
they
-1
can't
to
shoot
hit.
them. Yeah, -1 on a 6, they lose their activation wholesale.
Yeah.
They can't shoot the blue horror. They cannot shoot at all, which is super funny on like a Crusader or like a Repulsion Executioner or a Crab, Defiler, where you're like, oh yes, you have 8 guns.
Mm-hmm.
No, none of them shoot because you pointed one of them my way.
Yeah, it's
pretty sick.
And I believe it is the only rule in the game that completely just stops your activation. Like no reassign, no nothing.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring him in my list, but he's 90 points.
Yeah, he is really expensive for a
I don't have room for that.
Yeah. He's something to toy around with if anybody's considering running Plague Legion, if you would like to be really annoying to your opponent.
Real quick before we cut to ads to pay the bills, just to touch on Slaanesh, they are in a very bad place right now. For those of you who don't know, they got a bomb detachment which nuked the entire range of models. And that is the only way I can describe it, because prior to the detachment coming out, which I don't even remember the name of right now because I haven't seen it in so long. Like maybe you saw Shalaxi and Selesky, everyone, maybe a unit of Seekers and like an incursion list. There were a bunch of changes. You can go back and look at the demons thing on Warhammer Community to see them all. 'Cause, man, they got hit super hard. But there are a few notable units to mention. Demonettes to start. They are the cheapest demon battle line with OC. Nurglings are cheaper, but they have 0 OC, so they can't do actions, hold objectives. And there are multiple ways to sticky in demons. I believe most detachments have it, either like demonic incursion, you can just be on them, plague bearers or a unit.
Yeah, and then the 1 CP strat in incursion in either player's command phase.
I know Legion of Blood, if you kill something on an objective, you sticky it. So that is having OC is very useful. There is Selesky, who is one of the characters in the game who, when the first time they die on a 2-up, they get back up again. Super great for, advantageous trades or drawing fire to still hold an objective anyway, or do an action. And then the last notable unit right now is Seekers. They are a little bit pricier. I think like 115, maybe 125. But they they are T4 Scout 9 Move 14. So they are fast and very good at getting an early, getting early, middle, pressure to either set up your shadows, draw out an opponent. There are other units, like Beasts used to be pretty good, now not so much, or okay, but like if you're taking a unit at that price for stats, just take Beast and Nurgle. They're tougher. And then Shalaxi and Keepers of Secrets are just T10, 4-up invuln bodies with 18 and 20 wounds and maybe -1 to hit, and a prayer, and that's just not the metric. Like, that's not the metric we want to see right now.
How about that Soul Grinder?
Oh God, I love. Look, before we had to run bases, my list was no joke. It was Shalaxi, the 3 Greater Demons, 3 Keepers, 3 Soul Grinders, Selesky the Mask, Demonettes, and Seekers, and that was the whole list.
Soul Grinder is such a cool model, but
I came in second on the event. I'm so mad we got to read the base. The base on it is the same size as the Defiler, and it does not move 14 inches.
No.
So that base,
maybe they'll get a new one.
Maybe.
Probably not.
But unless you guys have any comments on Slanesh or any other demon unit you want to cover.
We never did cover Bellicor, but we can cover him.
There is one thing. Prior to moving to Bellicor, I did want to mention for Reigel, because I know Slanesh is sort of your bread and butter for demons. There was a dude that he ended up going 3-3, but he started the event 2-0 at Battle to End Alzheimer's up in Dover earlier this month with mono Slanesh demons and Bellicor.
Chariots?
Huh?
Was it Chariots?
I will read it to you. I was pulling it up. We have contorted epitome. Oh yeah. I had my head down for quite a little bit. It took a second. Contorted epitome, Keeper of Secrets with the Dreaming Crown, Shalaxi, Selesky, Changeling, Mask, Torment Bringer. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of Demonettes.
Yep, for the Torment Bringer and Contorted Epitome.
Yep. 2 squads of Nurglings, 1 squad of Fleshhounds, 1 Hellflayer, and 1 unit of Seekers. That's the entire list.
Okay, so really heavy on those. All right, no, that's in the Slanesh attachment because of Dreaming Crown. Okay, that's super cool. I'm glad people are still experimenting with Slanesh. She loves that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Real quick, we didn't mention Fleshhounds, but huge shout out to them. They are another workhorse unit. 75 points for 5 1-wound models that just automatically go up and down. No CP investment, detachment agnostic. Like even in Plague Legion, they could still find use just screening a backfield and dropping down and getting an objective, being picked back up and rescreening a backfield or getting in your opponents. Yeah. They are 75 points, and that is the thing about demons when we get to the not all glitters is gold, but Man, their numbers are weird. That includes their price points. Because you build a demons list and you'll find yourself 40, 50 points short and not know what to do about it.
More Nurglings.
I lost a lot of my Nurglings.
But we're gonna cut to pay the bills real quick, and when we get back, we'll talk about Big Boy Bellicor, because boy has he changed over the edition.
Oh yeah.
But hang tight with us, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Go.
Now with a word from our sponsor, Baron of Dice. Baron of Dice is your one-stop shop for premium wargaming dice. Our dice are made with premium resin materials and colored dyes. Each die is hand-mixed to the desired result and then carefully swirled with 2, 3, or 4 colors in a silicone mold before being laser engraved with a wicked symbol and finished in a matte or gloss polish. There are no imperfections in our dice, no balancing issues, no micro bubbles or mold lines. This is the difference between. You can, quite literally, feel and hear a difference with our dice. Whatever game you play, whatever style your team or faction rocks, we're sure to have something to elevate your game. With over 500 styles and over 4,000 customer reviews, welcome to the best dice on the planet. Now back to our show.
Welcome back. Be sure to go ahead and check them out. Support them, support us here at Onslaught. And we left off getting one model we have yet to talk about, and that is the linchpin in a lot of modern demon armies, and who has seen a lot of change, Mr. Big Belly himself. JT, if you want to go ahead and start us off, because you currently have him in your lists.
I do. I didn't start running him until I talked to Michael Mann, but he's got a 12-inch move. He's T11. He's got a 3-up save, a 4-up invoke, 20 wounds, 6 leadership, and 5 OC. He's got 2 melee or 2 ranged weapons, but it's 1 ranged weapon. It's devastating wounds, ignores cover, it's psychic, 9 attacks, 2 to hit, strength 5, -2 AP, 1 damage. The other one is same thing, dev wounds, ignores cover, psychic, but it's hazardous. It's 12 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 6, -3, 1 damage. Still pretty good, especially into certain units. His melee, just as good. 7 attacks. He's got 2. He's got a sweep and a strike. 7 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 14, -4, D6 +1. Great. And it's dev wounds. So my favorite thing is the epic challenge.
Is the strike lethal hits as well?
No, the strike is just dev wounds.
Dev wounds.
The sweep is sustained hits.
Yep.
14 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 8, -3, 1 damage, which is good into hordes. Now he's got what's called shadow form, which is at the start of the battle round, you pick 1. It's similar to like what the Primarchs have, but instead of 2, it's just 1. His is while friendly legion is within 6 inches of him, they basically have an 18-inch low now, which is great for turn 1. After that, that ain't needed. The other one is in the battle shock step of your opponent's command phase. If a unit is below starting strength, they have to take a battle shock test. If they fail that battle shock test, he heals for D3 mortals. But anyone around him that fails battle shock test, he heals for D3 mortal wounds. Or he heals for 3 lost wounds, not mortal wounds. Yep. And then the last one is you get to reroll hit rolls of 1 if you're within 6 inches of him. And he's within 6 inches of himself. So, you're hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, you're hitting something.
And if you remember, Scarbrand hit on 2s, the birds hit on 2s. So you and he hits on 2s. So like a lot of, you specifically and a lot of other generalists can really maximize your output. Yeah. Like Bellicor himself with his sustained hits on his sweeps averages like 16, 17 hits because you get 2 sustains, you miss 2, you re-roll them. Oh look, they're back again, and maybe roll an extra 6 in there. So and that's not even to mention things like Scarbrand with his 11 attacks we talked about. Now just 11 hits at 6 damage, nasty. And I believe he also has the stealth keyword, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He has the stealth.
Yeah, so he's also on top of all of that. He's -1 to hit at range, and if you get him in combat, he's now -2 to hit. So like even for guard, if guard are like, oh, I have my tanks I can hit you, and I'll give them take aim. they're still hitting out a minus. And even Tau, who guide on them, unless it's a Riptide, screw those things. They're -1 to hit. So Riptides ignore all hit mods for those of you who don't know. But yeah, he is, and as we said, he does not have every god's keyword, but the shadows aura he has specifically lets every other demon nesting doll out of him. So he doesn't gain their buffs that we were talking about, but he enables the army rule to propagate other units.
Yeah, anything within 6 inches of this model is your army Shadow of Chaos, is his rule, which the Shadow of Chaos is the army rule. So.
Oh, and I should specify another thing I like about Demonic Incursion, because like I said, this Demons is very combo play heavy. The Demonic Incursion sticky strat is better than any other sticky that the demon has access to, because that objective radiates a 6-inch aura of your army shadows. So a trick I use when I used to play it is that someone in the movement phase, someone would come out, and even if I wasn't able to control it for whatever reason, I could still rapid ingress some things, not 9 away, but 6 away, because if they didn't take that in the movement phase, it's mine and I have the aura, so I don't even need a model there. And because it's like Be'lakor General, you can put any model down. You could put Nurgle, Khorne, Tzeentch. So that's really cool Demonic Incursion deck. Very similar to Bellacor's aura. Clay, have you played with him at all? Or have they done any list crafting with him in mind?
So a couple of different things. For Plague Legion specifically, a lot of the buffs that benefit Nurgle specific units do not benefit him. There is tech with his Lona bubble to help your stuff not get just blasted off the board early on. Unfortunately for Mr. Belly Boy, there is an enhancement that you can throw on either a Guo or a Demon Prince. Demon Prince is what I do. That gives an 18-inch Lona bubble. So to better tech into the way in which I am trying to play, I will throw it on a Demon Prince who also gives off a bubble of stealth at the same range as Lona. So at the cost of, I believe it's 165 more points than the Demon Prince with the aura, I've opted against using him in Plague Legion. However, I have run Be'lakor in one game. He was an ally for a Hound Pack Lance Chaos Knights list. His benefits did not benefit anyone else. It was just him. But I did use him as sort of a, hey, if you come into the middle of the board, I'm going to kill the thing that you decide to come out to kill my baby knight. And it did end up working out well. I don't want to say it's the most competitive thing on the planet. I don't know. They don't synergize well. But I have used him, and he does hit like a Mack truck. Maybe not Scarbrand Mack truck, but he does hit pretty dang hard when he does get in there.
Yeah, no, he hits like a last cannon in melee if you do the strike, so it's not nothing.
Yes.
And with the D6 plus 1 dev wounds is no, even Dark Angels don't want to face that.
Heck no. No, they do not.
So, but yeah, I believe, unless you guys have any other models you want to talk about specifically or highlight, we can move on to matchups, because Demons is a really funny army with, in my experience, a really funny matchup matrix. Because it really does, in my view, more true than any other army, how you build and plan to take Demons really shapes the matches you want. Like Scintillating Legion doesn't pair anywhere near the way Plague Legion does, or even Demonic Incursion doesn't pair how Shadow Legion does, even though they're both generalist type army, encouraged to build. So we'll start with Mr. JT. You mentioned teams events. How do you feel your where your good matches are and bad matches are with Demons going into an event?
So I would say that I've had my worst matchup is honestly the unkillable Necron blob, because Demons cannot kill that. And if you do, you have to put so much into killing it that their swing back is just going to wipe you. I played into Dirk's Necron blob that he runs. And by the time I killed the blob, I couldn't do it. I kept the game was close. It was only, I think it was 11-9 or 11-8 or something like that. But I couldn't do anything. I couldn't kill the blob, and at that point, it was just too much. Another one I don't have that's not fun into is Dark Angels, because of the Deathwing Knights. They're -1 damage, and they're 4 wounds. It's just I couldn't kill them. At least from what I've tried, it's just they're just at that break point of the minus to damage. They're 4 wounds. It takes 2 activations, or essentially two swings to shoot most of them. And in melee, most people take the power weapons with, or not the power weapons, the maces with them for the anti-vehicle, which
anti-monster for
don't take a chaplain. It solves itself. Trust me. Take power weapons and a chaplain. But anyway, one thing I will say though is you would expect it to be. I played into the Hunt, which is supposed to be like your anti-vehicle, anti-monster detachment. I actually played very well into that, like extremely well into that.
The big Hunt is orcs for those of you that were on track.
That's strictly. That's almost anti-vehicle, anti-monster, everything. Beast Boys, Beast Boss on Squigosaur. You're running Squig Hogs and all that jazz. Did not have trouble with that. I actually was able to beat that, but that was more of smart plays on my end. Horde units, I do not mind playing the Horde units. It's mainly like not high toughness, but high wound, and that kind of like that break point, like Terminators, are not fun into. I do not like playing Space Marine units that are Terminators. It's just not fun because they don't die. Anything with an invone.
All right, so yeah, you're more like stats, like elite stat check type stuff.
Yeah, because if it's less. I don't have that many attacks. So if you have 10 models and 4 of my attacks go through, I'm killing 3, maybe 2. Yep. Maybe I'll kill all 4. But your swingback's killing me. So
man, playing keepers, I felt that I threw Shalaxi into a unit of 10 guardsmen with no characters in it. She got 10 attacks with no rerolls, and I killed 8 guardsmen. And I'm like, how? Okay, so I feel that. What are some positive? Like, what are matchups you like seeing? Like, if you go to if you're at a team event, you're like Kazumi and Coach, that guy right there, I got him.
I would say orcs. I could play into orcs, and I will say, orcs. Eldar, but like only because Eldar's not as good as it was before. They're not where they would have been. And then
the fire dragons are gone now.
Yeah, the big scary bad guys are gone. They nerfed them into oblivion. Sisters, and the reason I'm comfortable playing into Sisters is because I got a teammate, Alan, who is phenomenal with Sisters. He's beaten me plenty of times while me playing my demons, where at teams I played a Sisters player, and I just rolled over him because I'm like, I know what you can do. I know what not to do. So Sisters would be one of my best matchups because of my experience into playing against them.
I also, not to get anything away from you, but I also think demons do really good in the Sisters for the opposite reason they do bad into Dark Angels, where T3 1 wound is kind of the opposite of the spectrum of like T5 or 6 4 wound, -1 damage.
Oh, look, here's my flamers. I just killed your whole unit.
Yeah, it's like Sacrosanct, it's like, oh, I'm -1, -1 to wound. I'm like, all right, you're like, all right, cool. Here's wounding you on 3s, 15 wounds at 3 damage. Good luck with your Final Pains. So that. Although Vol and 3 Castigators will still destroy a monster line if you're not careful.
Yeah, I usually try to screen her out and wait for them to bring her out, and then I just bring out the Lord of Change and shoot her. Lord of Change is 24 inches. You can kill almost the entire squad.
What about you, Clay? What are your matchup matrix? You play a bit more of a stat check style. So what do you kind of look for in either teams or when you go to single events and you see your matchup for the next round?
Yeah, so it was funny listening to JT talk about his matchups because mine are almost exactly opposite of his. You mentioned Necrons is not something you want to go into. You can't You can't kill them. My army is not predicated on killing Jack. At the end of the game, you will have your entire army. I won't have my army at all. I will be 40 points up on you. So the the types of armies that Plague Legion wants to go into are armies like Necrons. You want to go into them. They predicate on board control, and if I can point, click, turn off the thing that's going to win you the game on a battle shock, we will take that all day long. Plague Legion does well into armies that try to trade or try to do well into multiple different archetypes, like non-blades Marines. Prefacing non-blades Marines.
Not Ultramarines.
Yes, yeah, like the trade, the armies like Dark Angels, like Deathwing Knights, or like XYZ. If you cannot kill a Guo a turn consistently, you will not do well into this army. If you can, you will more than likely win, unless if I pull some crazy shenanigans out of my behind and I make the dominoes fall in just a certain way. So the other main detriment to Plague Legion is armies like Drukhari, where they are hoardy enough to where they can go out and do a bunch of things, but also have the movement to be able to move block you and jail you. I still have not won into Drukhari with Plague Legion. Fingers crossed, maybe this weekend we get it done. I don't know. But armies that are able to just keep you pinned, not let you capitalize on having the midboard as your zone of control, that shuts down the army almost in its entirety. Yeah, so if you can kill a Guo in one turn, don't want to go into you, whether it's teams or singles or whatever. If you can move block and you have the movement like crazy, like things like Eldar, maybe not right now, like things like Eldar, Drukhari, things like that, don't want to go into you. If you can't handle a Great Unclean One, it will be a close game, or it will be a close, yeah, it'll be a close game, or it will be a blowout in Plague Legion's favor.
Fair enough. Yep. Nope. Widely agree. I think, yeah, like you said, Demons, it's 4 armies in a trench coat pretending to be one army. So there is, and I'm glad we got both of you on, because it shows the diversity of how you build and play changes. Just because you're Demons doesn't mean it's, going to be a set game plan, which is good and healthy both for the faction and the game. It keeps it from getting stale and boring and, figured out. With that being said, we can't really talk too. Normally, I'd like to ask about terrain, but seeing as how we have maybe 3 weeks left with our terrain setup, we're gonna leave that alone for now. We'll be happy to have you guys back on if you go into 11th playing Demons, because I'm excited for that. But kind of moving on, what would you guys say are some pros? Like if someone was watching this video, either thinking about getting into Demons or new into Demons, and they're like, what would you kind of encourage people to kind of lean into that this faction does well? Good. We'll start with play. See me nodding a lot.
Sure. Yeah. So, Reigel, do you mean from just getting into the army in general, or from a competitive standpoint, or just all of the above?
Anything that could be enjoyed. This could be hobby, competitive, lore, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
This
so
is the good stuff. Why it's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll start with more of the fluffy side of things. You have the free reign to paint all of this super cool stuff. You have 100 data sheets to pick from. If you get bored of one color, like Marines, you get the option to be able to to change colors and go with a different allegiance. Or if you really like Nurgle, or you really like the Tzeentch aesthetic, or you really like Khorne, you can really lean into that and just go with one thing. You can go just with one faction, Slaanesh, whatever. Or if you want to do all-encompassing, you have the free reign to do it. And the painting of these models is super forgiving. You can mess up, you could paint something wrong or get a little too much green on the bell handle or whatever, and one, people aren't really going to notice, but two, if they do, it's like, yeah, that goes into what I was trying to do here. Like,
Yep.
it's just, yeah, I intended it that way. What do you mean?
That's just what are you talking about?
Yeah. It's like, from an aesthetic standpoint, I'm partial, but I think like it's super cool. You have the hobby freedom to be able to do what you want to do, so that's super nice. From a competitive or from a playing the game standpoint, it's very similar to the flexibility of switching into other allegiances. Demons are really cool and very unique. They're similar to Tau in that you don't have like your standard build where you being unique is changing one unit around. Oh, I'm going to run 2 Vitrix guards this tournament instead of 3 Vitrix guards this tournament. You don't got that in this type of army. Like, JT's got all of the, well, except for Slanesh, all of the different like greater demons in his list, and mine is all Nurgle. And you have the flexibility to include units that work with the way in which you want to play and the way in which you want to operate. There is no one set thing that you do and think that you don't. You can mix it up and match your specific play style, and be competitive with doing that. That's probably the pros that I got for this sick army.
Well, I didn't mean that. This is and to your point, this is my Be'lakor, and I painted the base more Slaneshi. There's a lot more purple. The blades are purple. The corruption in the rocks is more purple and pink. And even his chest crest, like here, is purple as well. So like you were saying, instead of doing the normal, whatever, I kind of dedicated, because I ran him in an all Slanesh army, that he kind of fit with the purple and pink I had going on. Because that's what I said. I ran Slanesh, but that's just my example to your point, because I had something relevant for once. Yeah. JT, over to you for I'll throw some on the end, but what do you got for us?
Well, I think it's really funny that the first thing he mentioned was like the hobbying aspect, because I was also going to mention that, because the best part of the hobby, in my opinion,
Be'lakor.
It is the hobby. Like,
yes.
That is a nice looking Be'lakor. Both of those.
Oh, that's sick.
And then,
oh yeah,
giving me Nighthaunt vibes. Honestly, that's super sick.
He had
like,
one too many Baja blasts.
Truly,
like
the
that
drink
in my mind is like first and foremost the hobby of it, because for those of you out there who have seen me post my miniatures or seen my YouTube channel or my TikToks, I don't paint anything chapter approved or anything that looks like that doesn't look like how everyone sees a great unclean one, but it's how I see them. I'm going to paint my units and my models how I want them, because that's what I like to do. And I think the demons actually give you the most opportunities to paint it how you want and how you want it to look, because they don't have a specific color. Like Blood Angels are red, Dark Angels are green, and Blue Marines are cool. Like, no one likes Ultramarines. Yeah, so that's one reason I play them. The other reason is just it's so much fun. And one thing you never have to worry about is losing to a clock, because all I have to do is move 5 models. Like here, my movement phase is done. My shooting phase is done. All right, on to my charge phase. I'm going to attack with these 5 units, and your opponent's like, I've got to attack with these 30 models in 1 unit.
My one Gene Stealer activation will probably take up your entire fight phase. Like, it's so bad.
I just have to roll once. You have to roll for like 50 models. I'm good. That's just too much.
Yeah, I agree. As the person who plays it, I agree.
Yeah, the model count it's crazy. I just like the 5 units. It's easier that way.
No, for sure. And that is one of the points I was going to bring up. Is demons it's kind of like playing knights. Like it's a good mix between knights and custodies, where you're not as elite as knights, but you're not as like meticulous as you have to be with custodies. You're kind of that sweet spot where you're still very elite, but the mental load you have, because the rules are a lot more synergistic, whereas custodies are individual units, each a powerhouse on its own. Demons are individual units that strengthen, if you've built your list correctly. Let's put a caveat here. The other units around it that are participating in the game plan, whether it's screening, rushing forward, projecting threats, shooting, battle shocking, etc. So you do have that kind of, and there is something to be said if you go to an event 5-7 rounds over 2 or 3 days, that the not just the quicker your games, but like the easier your decision making for activations, the less mentally wary you'll be going into third game of the day on day 2, or whatever. So that is definitely a positive for the faction and just for as a play style. Also, what I was going to say is like lore wise, you are, I believe, the only faction in the game who respawns infinitely. Like with very few exceptions, you don't permanently die. You get defeated, you'll be back in a couple weeks. It's fine. It's lore accurate. You can do the Saturday morning villain like, yeah, I'll be back, because you will be. So those
even the Primarchs come back, except for us.
And Sanguinius, too bad.
Ooh, yeah, that's true.
Oh no!
Sorry.
Too soon.
It's been like
10,000 years. Yeah.
What do you mean? But no, Dean, like even if you're a narrative player, your losses can be softened by like, all right, we'll do it again. And that's kind of the lore of Armageddon to some extent. Is all right, boys, we're doing it again. So another thing and it's a very, as we said in the beginning, I believe Clay said it, but it is a very forgiving army to paint. There's a lot of, like, if you're not as experienced of a painter, a lot of speed paints or contrast paints work great, because there's a ton of, not just large areas, but there's like curvature, muscle, like you saw in the grid on Cleanwood. There's pits and divots and rolls and all kinds of stuff for the paint to really grab onto and highlight and accent. So you can get a lot of mileage even kind of doing, I don't want to say a lazy job, but like a simple paint job. You don't really, but if you want to go all out, man, those models can really pop. So
you can also magnetize them.
Yes.
Yep. They are big enough that a lot the monster models don't magnetize the chariots. Just buy a second kit. It is not worth it. I promise. Those are not worth magnetizing. But and what I would say for a final pro, and I don't usually say this about factions, but for demons specifically, it is one of the cheaper armies to get into. Like, it is up there with Knights and Imperial and Chaos Knights, because you don't have to field, you don't have to buy, 6 units of 5-man Terminators just to run 30 Terminators. You can just buy a 10-man, Bloodletter squad and 2 Greater Demons for Scarbrand and a Bloodthirster and a Bellicor and 2 Lord of Changes, 1 for Kairos. Like, legitimately, you could probably buy 10 boxes and be set to have an entire army.
Yeah, I think it's like 140 for a greater demon.
Something like that, yeah.
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 I do want to caveat that.
$30 for a 6-pack and a 3-pack of Nerdlings, which you can break into 6.
Yeah, yes, we can. I do want to caveat that, Reigel, because it is cheap to get 2,000 points on the table. But if you are a completionist, like some of the people in the room, it can be very expensive to want to be able to say, hey, I want to run Legion of Excess today and then Blood Legion tomorrow and Plague Legion the next day. It is an expansive enough range to where if you really do go down the rabbit hole, you can need to open up a second mortgage to be able to get everything done.
At that point, you are just as deep in the hobby as the rest of us. Because again, you are buying now 4 armies, not just the one that you want to run.
Which you can then use to go into the other armies like Emperor's Children, World Eaters, Death Guard, Thousand
Knights.
Suns.
Chaos Knights, yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Or if you're me, you just do a complete 180 and start building a Tau army.
Yeah. Oh, so you two
Yeah.
are just the opposite then. You two just
No, I'm working on Dark Angels and Tau.
he came from Tau with 2 demons.
Yep. Hey, if you ever
We
want to
actually-
test any out,
We actually played against each other in teams. He ran Eldar and I ran my demons.
Nice.
yep,
1 point.
1 point.
Look who
But,
switched to demons.
Who's the real winner?
3 of us in the room.
Mhm.
And that is the other pro I was going to
Eldar.
mention.
Let's go.
Is that demons are a wonderful gateway into other factions you want to try. There are, I believe, 6 armies. There's the 5 Chaos Marines, the CSM, and then the 4 Legion specific, and then Chaos Knights. So there is, easy, not cheap, easy branches into those factions with some of these assets. And the Legion specifically, Death Guard, Emperor's Children, Thousand Sons, and World Eaters, their detachments right now, we'll see what happens at 11. But right now, if you have the models, that is half your army. There's 1,000 points if you want it.
Yep.
Like three Guos or 2 Guos and Rodigus is almost half of a Death Guard list, if you wanted to do that. So that is the final pro I had. But with pros, do come some cons. No army is perfect, and if you're perfect, you're broken. Need to be nerfed. Eldar. And right now, Blades of Ultramar, because holy crap, what is that? Actually, honestly, quick tangent, I don't think Blades are even the worst defender. I think that new Spear Tip Assault or whatever, that one is nuts. But that's its own video. We'll start with JT. You've been playing a bit. What are some, I don't want to say drawbacks, but like pitfalls you would forewarn people from falling into or to avoid?
I would say, it's expensive. It's not. It might seem cheap, but it's not, in my opinion. Especially if you're right out the gate, you want to start running greater demons. It can be very what's the word? Intimidating. A long time, my first model I ever painted was not good. Even though Clay said the painting portion, in my mind, the hobby portion can be a little bit more difficult with them. Table wise, it can be hard to wrap your head around, because I'll tell you right now, I played demons for a year and I didn't even know that for 1 CP I could use sticky, and I played demons for a year.
I take the place.
It does happen.
Yeah.
And that is a genuine thing to remember. It's for as much as we said it's a combo and layering, if it's something I always say in person on the channel, your rules only work in so much as you use them. So and with demons, there are a lot of rules to remember to use, and if you don't benefit from them. So that is a fair warning.
Just one thing: don't get upset when you lose one model. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen on the table. The biggest weakness you're gonna have is if your opponent has high volume, low damage. That's you're probably gonna take a lot, and it's gonna hurt. Because high damage, nothing to worry about. You drop 1, you take 1 wound, you're fine. But when your opponent puts 50 shots at 1 damage, you have to make 50 saves. It's gonna hurt.
Yep. Yeah. I don't think there's a single game of chess where somebody has won without losing a piece. You're gonna lose stuff.
It is a war game. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fun. It is so much fun, and it's your brain. It's a good palate cleanser. If you have other armies and you want to look for a change, something you don't have to do a lot of thinking. Demons. It doesn't take a lot. You still have to think about certain things. I don't play demons if you play me, you're gonna see I play a little different than some people, or so I've been told. I don't just rush the board. I play very defensive still, but it's a palate cleanser for sure for some people. It could allow you to just relax and just enjoy the table without hurting your brain. Recon guard.
Something I forgot to mention on the pros real quick I wanted to bring up is, in so much as they are a board control army, it's more of a zone control game you want to play.
Yeah.
I've heard both these gentlemen talk about, center objective, their backfield, their expansion objective, and kind of harass their opponent's expansion or their backfield if there's a chance, or to disrupt them. But the main plan is these three are mine, or at least I'm playing here. And demons are very good at that. They are very good at throwing either their stats or their layers of rules at a problem your opponent presented and just overwhelming them, whether it's with damage from shooting or melee, or just here's a bunch of battle shots, you're not going to pass all of them. There's other things you can do too. There's things we're not talking about where you can bring CSM for their shenanigans. You can be playing Khorne, who is just, you move too close, now you're in combat with a Bloodthirster. Good luck. So there is, even other stuff that hasn't been discussed. But we are on to, the forewarnings of the war. And Clay, what do you have to add for any, potential initiates into chaos?
Yeah. Kind of like what JT said. From a hobby, I'll do the hobby perspective first. From a hobby perspective, the barrier to entry to get into the army is relatively cheap because, you are only buying 10 kits. It can be daunting, like JT said, just painting up 6 enormous models. If it's like your first army or something like that, that can be daunting. But my addition to that is past that initial barrier to entry, because the army is such like a toolbox style army, you're like, I played a game and I wish that I had some type of Overwatch threat that I could include in my thing. Well, let me go down to the local FLGS and buy 2 boxes of flamers and an exalted flamer for $120. Let me add that. And you test that out and it's like, well, you know what? Maybe I don't actually want the Overwatch threat. Maybe I need a little bit more sticky. Let me go down to the local friendly game store and buy 2 boxes of Plague Bearers. Oh, wait, I didn't need sticky. Let me go buy some bees. It really can be a good amount of like, once the ball gets rolling, it's not going to stop. That's something to note. And what goes along with that is it is easy to paint them, but it does still take time, just like playing any army. It will take you a lot of time to get things up to speed, up to snuff painting wise, to be able to play in tournaments. Factor that in mind. From a playing standpoint, demons do play very interestingly from a when you make mistakes standpoint. So I'll use a couple of different examples of this, I guess. So with Plague Legion, you have such a I want to do this thing standpoint to where you could lose a game and it would be easy to say like, oh yeah, like my dice, I needed to make that 4-up. I needed to do this. You can't practice or get better making your 4-ups. You can't practice doing better at rolling your saves, but what can you like do better at, right? And sometimes with armies where it's like, hey, I want to do X. I need to do X. If you can stop X, then I lose. If I can do it, I win. It feels hard to be able to sit back, take it back, and be like, what did I do wrong in order to lose this game? What could I have done to win this game? The example of this is I played Adam, one of our local Drukhari players, this past weekend up at Neverborn, and he mollywopped me, right? But we talked about it after the game to where I had a Chaos Knight Abominant allied in, and he was like, if you would have put that Abominant over towards your expansion, I wouldn't have been able to merc it down so far. So I was like, oh, shoot. If I would have factored that one little thing into my game plan, this game would be way closer, and I could have kept this, maybe even won the game. I don't know. But it can be very punishing without you like thinking about those overarching like things. It might not be apparent, but little mistakes in the way in which you want to structure your games can be very punishing, and it can be hard to see that punishment. From like a demonic incursion standpoint, I feel like that can also be punishing as well, but in a different way. Like the ability to need to think on your toes at all time of like, if they do this that I'm not expecting, how am I going to be able to pivot to be able to counter that thing? And if you're not on your toes or you don't have a full understanding of the thing that your army can do, not wants to do, because if you need to pivot, you want to do might not be what you're supposed to do. Being able to pivot on the fly is something that might take a little bit of repetition practice just to get in the swing of knowing that that is something that you can do. So both of the two different ways that we play have different pitfalls when it comes to like doing the wrong thing and ways to improve the way in which you play. So that is something to just be aware of when you are playing demons, is that know what your army wants to do and know what they're capable of.
Yep, and I would add on to that. I would say that, you know, for all of we talk about the layering and the comboing you can do and the synergies, like, you know, you said, Clay, there is a point to where as beginner friendly as the army can be, you know, if you want to run, you know, 6-7 big greater demons, you can also, I would highly suggest, if for any army, not just demons, practice on TTS. It's free. You can get a feel of the rules if you like it, and it's very minimal. Like, other than your time, super easy investment. Just a quick heads up to anyone who doesn't know, just look up TTS on YouTube or Google, and you'll see. Or hit us up on the
Simulator.
Like, yeah, Tabletop Simulator on Steam. But that aside, or borrow some from, if you know friends that play demons, they're like, hey, can I just borrow this army and see how it plays for a second? But other than that, this army, and again, it's true for all armies, but specifically demons, because of how dynamic it can be and how you build it, repetitions will take you so much further than, you know, anything else. Like Clay said, you know, figuring out where your failure point is beyond, oh, I failed the wrong 4-up. You know, learning, oh, if I position here, oh, maybe if I put this out first, oh, in this situation, I need this unit instead of this unit. And getting those reps in will take you, you know, from maybe going 0-3 to 1-3 to 2-1 to even 3-0 or 4-1. You know, you can, like we talked about earlier, someone played Sinesh and they started off going 2-0. And then it even ended even 3-3, which is really amazing. Yeah, go look at the Sinesh rules, and ending even at a 6-round event is tough. But yeah, so learning what your combos are, where they are, and like you said, for Demonic Incursion, I have seen people screw themselves out of points because they're like, oh, I can pick stuff up, so I just will. And then they're like, huh, I'd have been better to stay walking. Or, oh, I have to stick you at the end of my command phase, and I'm not on that anymore, and I'm not getting the prime. Wow. Huh. And the last thing I will say for demons that I've experienced, either through myself and helping other people learn the army, is it is one of the most CP intense armies in the game. They love their stratagems across almost every attachment, and there are very few reliable ways to get CP back. Because I think Kairos is only on a 5-up, and it has to be on a Zinj unit near him.
No, it's just he does it on a.
I think it's a leadership test.
Yeah, it's his leadership test.
It's a leadership test now. So he is the only it's a 5-up leadership test. So 3 to 4 turns out of a game, you'll get it.
I think I've gotten it in one game. I didn't get it at all.
Yeah, so even then, and then
that's why I just bring him for the Vect.
Yeah, and then Clay, I believe there's a Nurgle character that can potentially, and that is a load bearing potentially.
Yep, that is Epidemius. His model's older than me, and you get a CP back based on kill count. If you've killed 7 models in your command phase, your kill count goes to 0, and you gain a CP.
Skull Taker, if he kills a character, I think gets a CP.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So again, those conditions. Now that you do have access to Demon Princes who can reduce a strat, but that is not giving you CP, and is only within 12. So again, even if you can gain ACP between either, you know, heroics, rapid ingress, rerolling a save, rerolling a charge, using an attachment specific stratagem like sticky, or, you know, the battle an extra battle shock in a command phase or end of a phase, there are myriad of good strats that can be taken advantage of. Just make sure you don't out CP yourself for that interrupt you were planning, or picking up 2 units saying like, oh, I don't have the CP anymore because I rerolled a save in the fight phase. CP discipline is paramount with demons. I would say it's like right behind positioning is top, because like they said, if you lose models too fast or in an disadvantageous exchange, being elite army is going to hurt. Not having CP to layer your tricks or reinforce the tricks you're already doing can also really set you behind. And the term in the community is it'll lose you momentum. So that's my last one though. Is that, and it's not necessarily a con. It's just something to be aware of, especially coming from like Space Marines or there's a few other armies that really have CP. This is not one of them. And even with Kairos, like JT said, you could CP. Yeah. And neither one of you, or I think Clay said he runs a Demon Prince. JT doesn't. So they both have, between Fate Weaver and Demon Prince, they kind of are leveraging. But again,
I hate to break it to you, our Demon Princes do not have any CP manipulation. I double checked it when you had said that. Yeah, we don't have any CP manipulation with our Demon Princes, wings or without wings, nothing.
This is why I love this. I learned to
change. It might just be one for each god.
No, because Slanesh doesn't have one. Fun fact.
Oh.
Slanesh does have legitimately no way to get a CP.
Well, that's because no one plays Slanesh anymore.
That is very true. But
cool models.
Oh my god, I
horrible units.
Yep.
Half the reason for this logo is the pink and black, like that. But with that, unless you gentlemen have any final thoughts or any last things to add, I believe we've done this faction some justice. Hopefully we'll get some converts. I'm personally right now building up my Emperor's Children, and actually I've started with the demon units, the Chaos Spawn. So there's pictures on the Discord. The Discord will be in the description, but and to your guys' point, I've actually painted them 2 separate color schemes because I couldn't decide on one, and I'm like, screw it, they're demons, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
So
that was dope.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the future of demons. I'm looking forward to where they go in 11th. I don't think they're being boxed. You guys might, if you're looking at the demons, you might see some Reddit posts or forums. That's all hearsay. There's no basis for it.
They're not going anywhere. They're not losing that revenue stream.
And as someone said on the Grey Knight stream, I believe it was the Grey Knight show we did, if demons get boxed, then what are the Grey Knights going to do? So no, they're safe. But with that,
they're the gateway drug.
They really are.
Yes.
I want to thank you gentlemen for your time, for coming on, for sharing your experience and your thoughts. JT, if anyone has any questions for you, any thoughts, want to pick your brain about lists, where can they find you at?
I'm on the Onslaught Discord. I'm on the Neverborn Games Discord. You can find me on Warpfire Discord. You can find me on my local Spring Hill Discord. Really, any Discord that's a Warhammer Discord, you can probably find me, but I go by Plasma Minis. So you can find me on there. If you want to hit me up, ask any questions. If you're looking for a commission, you can hit me up. I do want to thank Onslaught for having us here, and you as well, Reigel. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you also mentioned you had a TikTok if people wanted to check that out.
Plasma Minis. Same with YouTube, Plasma Minis.
Perfect. Well, we'll get those in the details for you. And Clay, what about you? If anyone wanted to pick your brain about Plague Legion or any other questions? I'm almost functional Clay. My name kind of fluctuates between the multitude of Discords that I am in, between AF Clay and almost functional Clay. We have like Matt and myself for almost functional. We have a YouTube channel. I believe it's just almost functional 40K. If you just search that up, you'll probably find this wonderful logo. It's mostly a Space Wolves specific channel, but we do a lot of stuff, battle reports. I've had the Plague Legion on there a couple times. I myself don't have too many socials other than that, but if you look up Stashman Clay on Discord as the username, that's your boy. Reach out, do whatnot, or reach out if you have questions. I don't know if I'll be able to answer them or not, but we can start a little convo. And thank you so much, Onslaught. Thank you so much, Reigel and Lewis, for having me on. This has been great. This has been a blast. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And if you guys can't find them or unsure, nervous, you're having social anxiety or whatever, on the Onslaught Discord, if you just go to the Chaos Daemons channel and just start talking, I promise you, all the three of us will gravitate. Very few conversations happen where one, if not multiple of us, get in on it. So that is a general way to just get our attention. I'm also on the Onslaught Discord, as always. You can reach out, tag me. It's Elite Hatter. But with that, of course, thank you, Lewis. Thank you to the Onslaught brand for allowing us to do this and share this with you guys. And let us know. And of course, any questions in the comments. Both these gentlemen, as they said, are on YouTube, are part of YouTube. Clay does have a battle report, I believe, 2 weeks ago, time of recording, where you went live.
Something like that, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
You can see Plague Legion in action and some of the stuff he was talking about. So that's good. And we go to local events. We'll all be going to an event, Grand Onslaught 12.
Yeah, and so this will be 2 weeks after that.
The magic.
Yes. We can edit that in post.
Yeah. Razz us on our performance after.
This is today. Out. This is coming out today.
Exactly. Immediately, I'm recording and posting it.
Yes.
But we also, like we said, we've all the team attend team events. There's the Onslaught team event in November. There's the fall ATC. So if anyone comes out to those, feel free to come up to me and say hi. I'm always happy to talk and meet with people. Almost Functional hits a lot of team events. Plasma, I've seen you guys at a couple recently. So we're all fairly active circuit. And if you're up in Spring Hill and near Neverborn, feel free to stop in and say hi. I was just there this past weekend. Awesome store, awesome group of people. So, with that though, I want to thank all of you guys for your time, for sticking with us. As we get further and further into this series, these episodes get longer as that more and more passion is put into it. I want to thank all of you for making this lucrative for us to come on and share our experience and our joy in the hobby. But with that, I wish you two a good night. Wish everyone that's joined us a good night. And like, subscribe to the video, leave comments, tell us what you like, ask us any questions you might have, and we'll be happy to get with you and answer them. With that, I hope everyone has a wonderful time. And again, thank you as always. Hope you can join us next time.
Thank you.